They say when a stranger asks for nothing, they are already taking everything. My people, let me tell you about Yetunde, a woman who had everything. A fine house in Lekki, a husband who worked in oil and gas, and a baby boy, round like a full moon. His name was Tomiwa, 6 months old. Fat cheeks, loud voice, the kind of baby that makes visitors say, "Ah, this one will live long." But Yetunde was tired. Chai, she was so tired. Every night Tomiwa would cry and cry and cry. No sleep, no peace. Her eyes were red like pepper. Her husband, Dapo, would come home from work and find her sitting on the floor, just staring at the wall. He said, "My wife, you need help." She said, "I know." So they decided they would find a housegirl, someone to help with the baby, someone quiet, someone trustworthy. They asked around, they prayed, and then one Sunday after church, a woman brought her niece to them. Her name was Bose. Bose was small, thin like a broom. Her skin was dark, and her eyes were always looking down. She did not smile. She did not talk too much. When Yetunde asked her, "Can you cook?" she said, "Yes, ma." When Yetunde asked her, "Can you clean?" she said, "Yes, ma." And when Yetunde asked her, "Can you help with the baby?" Bose looked up just once, and she said, "I can hold him." Yetunde felt something, a small cold thing in her chest, but she ignored it because Bose looked harmless, and the woman who brought her, Sister Funmi, said, "This girl is from my village. She is a good girl. She will not steal. She will not cause trouble." So Yetunde agreed. Bose moved into the boys' quarters that same day. The first night, Tomiwa cried as usual. Yetunde was about to stand up when Bose appeared at the door. She said, "Madam, let me try." Yetunde was too tired to argue. She handed the baby over, and my people, Tomiwa stopped crying instantly, like someone had pressed a button. Yetunde blinked. She looked at Bose. Bose was rocking the baby gently, humming a song, a strange song, low and deep. Yetunde wanted to ask, "What song is that?" But sleep dragged her down, and she slept like the dead. The next morning, Yetunde woke up and found Tomiwa still sleeping, peacefully, his small chest rising and falling. She touched his forehead. Cool, no fever, no sickness. She smiled. Maybe Bose was a blessing after all. Days passed. Bose worked like a machine. She cleaned, she cooked, she washed, and every time Tomiwa cried, Bose would appear like magic, like she could hear the baby before he even made a sound, and every time she held him, he would sleep. Dapo was impressed. He said, "This girl is a gift from God. Look at how calm our son is now." Yetunde agreed. She even told her friends, "I found the perfect house girl." They all envied her. They said, "Where did you find her? Can she recommend someone for me?" But then, small things began to happen. Strange things. Yetunde noticed that Tomiwa's clothes were becoming loose. She thought, maybe I bought the wrong size. She noticed that his cheeks were not as fat anymore. She thought, maybe he is growing tall now. But deep inside, something whispered to her. Something was wrong. One evening, Yetunde was folding clothes when she saw Bose walking past the corridor. And my people, Bose looked different. Her skin was brighter. Her cheeks were fuller. Her eyes had a shine in them. Yetunde stared. She thought, this girl is eating well. But then she remembered, Bose barely ate. Every meal Yetunde gave her, she would say, I am full, ma. She would take 2 spoons and leave the rest. Yetunde even asked her once, are you sick? Why are you not eating? Bose smiled, a small, strange smile. She said, I don't need much, ma. That night, Yetunde went to check on Tomiwa. He was sleeping in his cot. She picked him up and chai! He felt light, too light, like a bag of feathers. She shook him gently. He opened his eyes, and my people, his eyes were pale. The whites were yellowish. His lips were dry like old paper. Yetunde's heart began to beat fast. She called Dapo, come and see your son. Dapo came running. He looked at Tomiwa. He said, what is wrong with him? Yetunde said, I don't know. He is losing weight. He is looking sick. They decided, tomorrow they would take him to the hospital. But that night, Yetunde could not sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling. And then she heard it, a sound, soft, like a lullaby, coming from the boys' quarters. Yetunde sat up. She listened. The sound was low, a woman's voice, singing. But the words were not in English, not in Yoruba, not in any language Yetunde knew. She got out of bed, slowly. She walked to the window. She looked outside. And my people, the boys' quarters light was on. She whispered to Dapo, do you hear that? But Dapo was snoring, deep sleep. Yetunde put on her slippers. She walked out of the room, down the stairs, across the compound. Her heart was pounding. The closer she got to the boys' quarters, the louder the song became. She reached the door. It was slightly open. She peeked in, and my people, what she saw made her blood turn to ice. Bose was sitting on the bed, in the dark, with Tomiwa in her arms. But she was not just holding him. She was breastfeeding. Yetunde wanted to scream, what are you doing? But then she saw it, the liquid dripping from her chest. It was not milk. It was red. Yetunde stumbled backward. Her hand flew to her mouth. She wanted to scream, but her voice was trapped in her throat. She turned and ran back to the house. Her legs were shaking. Her chest was tight. She burst into the bedroom and shook Dapo awake. Wake up! Wake up! Dapo opened his eyes, confused, angry. What is it? Yetunde was shaking. She said, Bose, she's feeding the baby with blood. Dapo sat up. He stared at her. He said, what are you talking about? Have you gone mad? Yetunde grabbed his arm. She said, come and see. Come now. She dragged him out of the room, down the stairs, across the compound. But when they reached the boys' quarters, the light was off. The door was closed. Yetunde pushed it open. Bose was lying on the bed, sleeping peacefully, like an angel. Dapo looked at Yetunde. He said, where is the baby? Yetunde's heart stopped. She ran to the main house, up the stairs, into the nursery. And there, in the cot, Tomiwa was sleeping, his small chest rising and falling. Dapo followed her. He said, you see, you are imagining things. You are stressed. You need to rest. But Yetunde shook her head. She said, I saw it. I saw what I saw. The next morning, Yetunde did not let Bose touch Tomiwa. When Bose reached for him, Yetunde said, no, I will carry him. Bose stopped. She looked at Yetunde, and for the first time, Bose smiled, a full smile. Her teeth were white, too white. She said, "Okay, ma." Yetunde took Tomiwa to the hospital. The doctor checked him. He ran tests, blood tests, weight, temperature. When the results came back, the doctor frowned.
He said, "Madam, your baby is anemic. His blood count is very low. Are you feeding him properly?" Yetunde said, "Yes, I breastfeed him every day." The doctor said, "Then something is draining him. Maybe an infection, maybe parasites. I will give you medicine." But Yetunde knew it was not an infection. It was not parasites. It was Bose. When Yetunde got home, she told Dapo everything. She said, "We have to send that girl away." Dapo said, "You cannot just accuse her without proof. What if you are wrong?" Yetunde said, "Then let us watch her. Tonight, let us stay awake and watch." Dapo agreed. My people, before we enter the darkest part of this story, if you are enjoying this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to JourneyTales Africa. Do not be a silent listener. Join the family. That night, Yetunde and Dapo pretended to sleep. They left their bedroom door open. They waited. Midnight came. The house was quiet. Then they heard it. Footsteps, soft like a cat. Yetunde touched Dapo's hand. He nodded. They got up, slowly. They followed the sound. It was coming from the nursery. Yetunde's heart was beating so loud she thought it would wake the dead. They reached the nursery door. It was open, and inside, Bose was standing over the cot, holding Tomiwa, rocking him gently. Yetunde was about to rush in when Dapo held her back. He whispered, "Wait, let us see." So they watched. Bose sat down on the rocking chair. She lifted her blouse, and my people, there was no breast, just a wound, a deep open wound on her chest. And from that wound, thick dark liquid began to flow. Bose pressed Tomiwa's mouth to the wound. The baby began to suck, his small hands gripping her. Bose closed her eyes. She tilted her head back and she moaned, not in pain, in pleasure. Dapo's knees nearly gave way. Yetunde screamed. The scream shattered the silence. Bose's eyes snapped open. She turned her head slowly, and when she looked at them, her eyes were not human anymore. They were black, completely black, like two deep holes. She smiled, blood dripping from her chest. She said, "You should not have seen this." Dapo shouted, "Put my son down." But Bose did not move. She stood up, still holding Tomiwa. The baby was pale, limp like a doll. Yetunde lunged forward. "Give me my child." But Bose stepped back. She said, "He's mine now. I have been feeding him. I have been caring for him. He belongs to me." Dapo grabbed a lamp from the table. He swung it at Bose, but she moved fast, too fast. The lamp missed her and shattered against the wall. Bose laughed, a low, ugly sound. She said, "You cannot stop me. I am stronger than you. I am older than you. I have lived for 200 years. Yetunde fell to her knees. She begged, "Please, please, he is my only child. Take anything. Take gold. Take gold. Just give me back my son." Bose tilted her head. She said, "I do not want money. I do not want gold. I want life. And this baby has so much life in him." Then she turned and she ran out of the room, down the stairs, into the night. Dapo and Yetunde chased after her. They ran into the compound, but Bose was gone, vanished like smoke. Yetunde screamed into the darkness, "Tomiwa, Tomiwa!" But there was no answer, only the sound of crickets and the wind. Dapo said, "We have to call the police," but Yetunde shook her head. She said, "The police cannot fight what we just saw. We need help, real help." So they went to Sister Fumi, the woman who had brought Bose. They banged on her door. Sister Fumi opened it, rubbing her eyes. "What is wrong?" Yetunde grabbed her. That girl you brought, she's a demon. She took my baby." Sister Fumi's face changed. The color drained from her cheeks. She whispered, "Bose? You hired Bose?" Yetunde said, "Yes. You said she was your niece." Sister Fumi shook her head. She said, "I have no niece. I don't know any Bose." Yetunde felt her knees buckle. Dakpo said, "Then who did you bring to our house?" Sister Fumi said, "I brought no one. I have not been to your house in months." My people, do you understand what this means? The woman who brought Bose was not Sister Fumi. It was something else, wearing Sister Fumi's face. Sister Fumi took them to a man, an old man in Mushi. His name was Baba Efe. He lived in a small room that smelled of herbs and smoke. When they told him the story, he did not look surprised. He said, "You have allowed an Abiku into your house." Yetunde said, "What is that?" Baba Efe said, "A spirit, a child eater. She feeds on the life force of babies. She takes their blood, their strength, their years, and in return, she becomes young again, beautiful again, strong again." Dagbo said, "How do we stop her?" Baba Efe said, "You cannot stop her, but you can bargain with her." Yetunde said, "Bargain with what?" Baba Efe said, "With something she wants more than your son." He gave them a small calabash. Inside was a black powder. He said, "Burn this at midnight, at the exact place where she first held your son. Call her name 3 times, she will come. And when she comes, offer her this." He handed Yetunde a small mirror. It was old, cracked. He said, "This mirror shows the truth. It will show her what she really is, and when she sees, she will either let your son go, or she will take you instead." Yetunde swallowed. She said, "I will do it." That night, Yetunde and Dakpo prepared. They cleared the living room. They placed the calabash in the center. At exactly midnight, Yetunde lit the powder. It burned with a green flame. Smoke filled the room, thick, choking. Dakpo covered his mouth. Yetunde called out, "Bose, Bose, Bose." The room went silent. The smoke stopped moving. And then a voice, soft, sweet, "You called me." Bose stepped out of the shadows. She was holding Tomiwa, but the baby was not moving. His eyes were closed. His lips were blue. Yetunde screamed, "What have you done to him?" Bose smiled. She said, "I am almost finished. One more feeding, and he will be mine forever." Dakpo shouted, "We have something for you." He held up the mirror. Bose's eyes widened. She said, "What is that?" Yetunde said, "Look into it. Look at yourself." Bose hesitated, but curiosity pulled her forward. She stepped closer. She looked into the mirror, and my people, what she saw made her scream. The reflection in the mirror was not a young, beautiful girl. It was a creature, old, wrinkled, with hollow eyes and a mouth full of broken teeth. Her skin was gray like ash. Her hair was thin and white. She was decaying, rotting, even as she stood there. Bose dropped the mirror. She staggered backward. She touched her face. She screamed, "No, no, this is not me. This is not me." But the mirror had shown the truth, and the truth could not be hidden. Yetunde stepped forward. She said, "You are dying, Bose. You have been dying for 200 years, and no matter how many babies you take, you will never be young again. You will never be human again." Bose fell to her knees. She looked at Tomiwa in her arms. She said, "But I need him. I need his life." Yetunde knelt beside her. She said, "Then take mine. Let my son go. Take me instead." Dakpo grabbed Yetunde. "No, you cannot do this." But Yetunde pushed him away. She said, "He is my child. I will die for him." She held out her hand to Bose. She said, "Take me." Bose looked at Yetunde. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, slowly, she placed Tomiwa in Yetunde's arms. The baby was cold, but he was breathing, barely. Yetunde held him tight. She looked at Bose. She said, "Thank you." But Bose did not take Yetunde. Instead, she stood up. She said, "I am tired. I have been running for too long. I have been feeding for too long, and I am still empty." She looked at the mirror on the floor. She said maybe it is time to stop. She walked to the door. She turned back one last time. She said, keep your son, love him, protect him, because there are others like me waiting, watching, and they are always hungry. Then she stepped into the night and she was gone. Yetunde and Dakpo rushed Tomiwa to the hospital. The doctors worked on him for hours. They gave him blood, they gave him medicine, and slowly, he began to recover. His cheeks filled out, his eyes brightened. He cried a loud, strong cry, and Yetunde wept because she knew her son had been returned to her. 3 months later, Tomiwa was healthy again, fat, happy, loud. Yetunde never hired another house girl. She did everything herself, and every night before she slept, she would check on her son. She would touch her forehead. She would count his breaths. But sometimes, late at night, she would hear it, a song, soft, distant, coming from somewhere far away, a lullaby in a language she did not know, and she would shiver because she knew Bose was still out there, somewhere, wandering, searching. Dapo asked her once, do you think she's gone for good? Yetunde said, I don't know, but I pray she never comes back. And my people, that is where the story takes a breath, because some evil does not die. It only waits. And when you least expect it, when you think you are safe, it will knock on your door again, smiling, polite, asking for nothing, but already taking everything. And there, the story rests. My people, you have ears. I hope you have heard. Let the fate of Yetunde be a lesson to us all. Now, tell me in the comment section, what is your take on having a house girl after hearing the story of Yetunde?